This is Does It Podcast. And here we have
Rigo.
Rigo. All right, Rigo. So, what do you do, Rigo?
Well, shit. It's complicated to say, but I'm in the construction industry. But I wouldn't say it's the construction industry. I would want to say it's something in the remodeling, building houses, like a typical contractor. But mainly what I do is I help real estate agents build their portfolio and get more value for their property, and they pose as a general contractor. It's pretty much what I do.
Okay. And how long have you done that for?
Oh man, like my dad's been doing it for 30 plus years, so that I could remember. 5 years old, I started with the broom. 8 years old, doing a little bit more and more tasks.
Okay. That sounds like a really long time then.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, that's good though. And what inspired you guys to do that? What inspired you to follow in that?
To follow his footsteps. So it all started when he came to the United States. He's illegal. He's an immigrant. So he came here, brought my brother. He was premature. So he felt like every other Latino families, like they feel they need to come to the States to make more money and, help their family out in Mexico. So that was his inspiration to come over here and start working over here. He started in a Denny's and started, restaurant business. So over the time, we were living in hotels. My sister was born, I was born. He was probably doing that for probably 8 years. 8 years, I would say. And then we were living at hotels. And, there's an image that I have in my head that I could never forget. I was probably like 5, 6 years old, that he got on his knees telling the guy, please take my money. It's not much, but please give me a room. Pretty much what he was saying, give me a roof to have over our heads. And I remember that. And he took me into the office that day. And, that's something I could never forget. And the guy agreed. I'll give you a room, but I need you to do some handyman stuff, like reparations around the hotel. And he agreed. So after work, when he was done with the restaurant, he would work at that hotel, to do little renovations, whatever. And we ended up staying for a week. A week's worth of work, I guess you could say. And he would continue after that. But fortunately, he recommended him to his cousin, and then that's how all of that blew up. He was just learning, it's all mistakes. You learn from your mistakes. So you fuck up or you mess up, and you just keep going from that. And that's something the first thing that I remember from doing all this construction stuff.
Oh shit, yeah, that's deep. Yeah, I mean that's how some things get started from failure.
Exactly.
No, but that's good. So now after all these years, what was the knowledge and what do you plan going forward on with all this?
Can I speak over? So you asked me how he started, and now let me ask me. Okay, you explained to us how he started. Now tell us yours, because you asked me 2 questions.
Yes, 2 questions. So now from getting all that experience, now what do you plan on doing with this knowledge and all this and all the years that you're done? Now what do you plan on going forward with this?
So when I was growing up, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what he stumbled across. I didn't know. I was young. I was a kid. And then, 8 years old came along, and he started taking me with him. And I remember it was a job in San Francisco. The guy that he got the job from was actually an engineer when they first built the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And I could never forget that. And he gave my dad the opportunity. And he told him, help me remodel my hotel, and I'll pay you for it. And my dad wasn't too established with the pricing. Like, he was doing it for dirt cheap. Mexican from Mexico. Come on, like even $1 is a lot of money over there. So, and a lot of people, when they're desperate and they want it, they'll do it. The Mexican culture is like, a lot of people say like, get a Mexican to do it, or get a Latino. And it's not because we want to do it. It's because we're desperate to do it. We'll figure out a way. We'll figure it out. But the story with that is, when I was younger, I learned plumbing at a really young age. I was like 15 years old, and I was like a master plumber. I already know copper, PEX, the new stuff that came out. Like I know a lot of stuff, and electrical by, I would say, 1920. I was already a good electrician, already messing with panel boxes. Like because my dad taught me. He learned, and whatever knowledge he got, he passed it on, and he didn't keep me in the blank. So my inspiration for that, ever since I was a younger kid, I always seen myself as a builder. And I always said I have always wanted to build my own house from the ground up, from the dirt, buy the land, buy the dirt, and build it all the way up to the to till it's finished. And that's still a dream of mine. That's still something I want to do. And I'm inspired. There was a time in my life where I was working with my dad until I was like 20, 22 years old, roughly, and I was really confident. I walked into in a Sacramento. I won't say the organization, but it was a place where you could go and get your contractor's license to make everything legal. I walked in there and I had all these checks under my name, $20,000, $30,000 checks, and I took copies of them, right? And I took it to this place, and I've been copies for like 3 years worth of checks. And I walked in there and I said, "Hey, I want to get my general contractor's license." They're all like, "Okay, have you been a journeyman?" I was like, "I don't even know what that is. Like, have you been working for a general contractor?" When I was younger, I seen my dad as a general contractor. So I said yes. They're like, "Okay, let me see your pay stubs." And I showed him these 20, $30,000 checks, and the guy laughed at me. He laughed at me and said, "You can't use these. You're not paying taxes. You're not. This is not you. This is not legal." And I told him, "Well, I know a lot of stuff. Like, ask me questions. I'll tell you what it is." And he just said no. He's like, "Look, son, like you can't do it this way." And he told me, "You need to work for a general contractor for 4 years as a journeyman, and if you do that, come back, and I will help you." I still remember, like, even at that time, I was like 2022. I told him, "Sell me the books at least. At least let me get the knowledge in the books and the CDs that they give." And he said, "No, I can't do that." And I told him, like, "Charge me the $400 because it's the books with the CDs, and they take you to maybe like 3, 4 night classes." And then I told him, "Just give me the books, sell me the books for what it is, and I won't come to the night classes. And I just want the books. I just want the education," which is what I feel like a lot of people should do, the education. And I took the books. I paid him for the books. He could have easily pocketed the money. I didn't know. But I took the books. And I still have the original book. And when I took that book, I looked over it, and it's a lot of stuff that it helped me kind of form my way of thinking of how I need to take my life. So that's when I learned about taxes. That's when I said I need to dig into taxes, like taxes, working for a GC. And that's what I did. Like 2 weeks later, I told my dad. It hurt me a lot. Like, I know it's a big step, but I told my dad, like, "Hey, dad, I can no longer work for you." He told me why. And I explained to him what I went through, and he said, "No, just stay." But I ended up leaving. I left. And I worked for companies. I really like carpentry, so I learned carpentry. I was already well rounded with electrical, plumbing, and other foundations and all that stuff. So the companies, it didn't take me a really long time to grow. I came into the company, and then it took me maybe 2 months, and I was already doing a lot of work. They depended on me. And after a while, maybe three years down the line, my dad started losing hope. He said, "My kids don't support me. I have a brother, did the same thing, but he's not around as much." And he said, "My kids don't support me. They're not with me. They're not helping me on what I created," and it touched me. So what I did is every weekend I would go work for him. I would go be with the company Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would be in Reading. I would be 2, 3 hours away from where I live, from where my job, or I will go wherever he is to help him out and help him push his jobs forward. And after a year of that, he noticed that maybe my kid won't follow me, maybe he won't save me. But it was already the fourth year. And then finally, it was the fourth year, and I quit. I quit my job. And I quit my job. But to get that job, it was a really good job, And they're an insurance company out of Benicia. They were in Concord, but they moved to Benicia. But it was a really really good job. But yet I had a bigger picture, I had bigger plans, and I had bigger things I want to do. And I'm in the process now of trying to get general contractor's license. I already got the years in the books, and now I just gotta deal with IRS.
Yeah, the big one now. Oh, that's good though. So all that experience really fucking paid off.
Yeah,
Really
paid off.
paid off.
And it's all thanks to him. Companies, I've worked with companies, and they tell you parts of things. Because I came in to two companies when I first started with the companies. They told me a little bit. They don't want you to grow. They only tell you parts to do your part and done. And then the rest of it, they put people to do parts. But they didn't know that I knew a lot. In the first two companies, I told them, I know this, I know this, I know that, I know this. They almost see me as a threat, and they never gave me the job. There was one company, another insurance company, the famous company that's in North California all the way to South California, Restoration, I won't say their name, but they told me you're overqualified, which I didn't know that was such a thing. And
that's the first, right?
and so the next company, which I apologize to you from Benicia, I never told you what I really did. So, or what I actually known. And he asked me like, what do you know? And I would only tell him a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Because I didn't want to overqualify. But the end goal is I wanted to be a general contractor, just like him. And he asked me one day, twice actually. He asked me, what do you want in your future? And I knew if I would have told him, he would have felt a threat and probably got rid of me.
Yeah.
But I just told him, like, I want to be like you one day. I want to help you. I want to be like you. I want to be in your shoes. I want you to be at home drinking a beer while I'm over here doing your job. You know what he did? He laughed in my face. But he never knew the real reason why I was there. And a lot of people, they don't tell me what I am or what I do, but I know what I am. I know what I do. I know how much I'm worth.
Yes.
They didn't see that. They didn't pay me what it was. And it's fine. Like, I did other people's jobs, but they didn't realize that. And then this is some advice I'm gonna give to people. Always over exceed. Always make yourself dependable from somebody, a company or something, somebody that pays you. Because the day you leave is the day they will realize and feel the impact. And that's the day, the next week or whatever it is, they will be calling you, telling you to come back.
Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah, 'cause, you did so much for them. So
Yeah. Did a lot.
no, yeah, for sure. And then now that you're on from there, you said you wanna, no, you still pursuing that now that you got the years and all that in. So what now is just waiting, or what's on from here?
So my dad was happy that I came back. He was really ecstatic, like, you're back, whatever. I explained to him again, like, Dad, like, you know why I did it. Like, now I'm back and I want to help you. So from him taking 2 commercial jobs, right now at this moment we're doing 6 commercial jobs. And I'm the one running around doing all the paperwork, all the collecting the checks and everything. So, and my worry right now is we're revenuing over 6 figures
Oh, shit.
from when I started with him to now. So we're looking at maybe like 6 months, 6 months worth of work, and we're already over those numbers. So, and my worry is IRS. Be straight up with you, IRS. I'm worried about the IRS. So I want this year to pass, and they tell me what they're gonna tell me until I could get my license, because I already passed the test. I already did the business side of it. I already did the law part of it. I already did the exams. I already passed it. I passed it. All I gotta do is go to the state and do the same thing. But I'm scared. I'm scared that if I get the license, they're gonna have something to put all that money against. Eventually shutting me down, eventually taking my license away from me, and doing all that stuff. So what I figured out when I was younger, my dad got caught contracting without a license, and what had happened was they called the ORSHA, they called the General Contractors Board and Swift organization. They came down and they fined him. They took him to the prison. They didn't know who he was and everything. ORSHA came, and this is something I won't never forget. ORSHA said, "Do you have a general contract?" No, I don't. So ORSHA said, "Why am I here? I got no license to put the company liable for whatever they did." And he even said it's like $100,000 fine. Having scaffoldings with no tying in with ropes to the building is what we had. And he said you need the proper equipment. But the thing is, there was no license to sue. There was no license to go after. So, and then I realized if you do it the wrong way, they can't really mess with you because you're trying to grow. You're trying to grow and become somebody, something in life. But at the same time, if there's a license in place, they could go after that license. And from that experience, that's why I don't want to get the license, because I already made all this money. I don't want later the IRS to come like, hey, you before the license and then after the license was in the middle. We're gonna sue you or take your license away or whatever. I don't want that to happen. So I rather let whatever's gonna happen, and then from there they will tell me I'm wrong. Then when they tell me that, that's when I get the license and I start fresh. That's my plan. That's what I want to do.
Okay, I see your picture. So you're just gonna wait still, regardless. So
Yep. From 6 figures, I'd rather pay them 75% of it, but yet the next year I'll be good. Yes. I'll be good, ready to start everything the legal way, the right way, which is what I've been wanting to do when I was a kid.
So. Yes, and you don't want to start with anything bad on it already from the start. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. And then where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now. That's a tough one, huh? Yes. I could tell you where I want to see myself 5 years from now.
Okay, let's do that. Where do you want to see yourself?
5 years from now, I want to own land. 200 acres, 150 acres. Grow cattle, sheep, whatever, chicken, something that revenues in the farm industry. And have my land half, for the farm and half for personal use. And then even that half of that half is going to be for the construction business. Yeah. I have a lot of uncles, including my dad, that do what we do. And I just want to be the person to be able to help them to make everything legal. Yeah. So anything after that, I don't have bigger goals, honestly. I did dream big before. I wanted a lot of things, but throughout the years, it humbled me to where I'll be happy with that. And when I get to that, I'll have another goal.
Yes. After that, that's the way to go. Accomplish one, move on to the next one.
Make it a step at a time.
One day at a time. No, that's good. That's good. So that, and as of right now, though, so you're just moving one day at a time, doing what you do, or
as right now, one day at a time. There's something that I've learned though, that if you understand the tax book, understand business, know how to run a company, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. You apply it to the construction industry, you just change like one fraction of it. Apply it to a dealership, you change one fraction of it. Apply it to hospitals or anything that's a business that revenues money. It's all the same thing when it comes to the taxes and it comes to all of that stuff. So it all depends on what you want to do with your life. And, you got to ask yourself. You always got to ask yourself the first question, which is, for me, was, where do you want to go? What direction do you want to lead? And whatever direction you pick, you got to go 110% towards that direction. No matter if there's bumps on the road, no matter what it is, you cannot change it. Because you've gotten the start, and you cannot go back. Once you pick, you keep going. And there's gonna be bumps, there's gonna be headaches, there's gonna be a bunch of stuff that gets in the way, but nothing's easy. And if it were easy, everybody would be doing it.
No, completely understand. Completely agree with that. Same with every business. Even for me, it's the same thing. But here we are, one day at a time. We started, but so but so tell me about this business wise now. You were after you get all this, do you plan on constructing your own company to build, like running, having people all under your wing, or how do you what's your plan with that though?
I don't
I
really
know.
want to get too much into detail with that, but I'm gonna tell you something.
Give us a little hint.
I want to buy land, and I want to develop. In times of recession, times of when you can't develop, and a lot of developers are gonna agree. Like now, housing market is going down. There's a crisis in the world. Stuff is happening, and it's not just knowing about how building a house. It's not just about knowing a little bit of numbers of the market. You gotta understand the property values, the cities, and there's a whole chapter, a whole thing into it. But my idea is to get the construction business, buy real estate, have my own people fix the real estate, and eventually sell the property and win from the construction and win from fixing the own property plus the property values and all the benefits that come with that. So it's two companies that could help each other, but there's only one owner, which is what I want to do. And eventually I want to add more to it. But for now, those are the two major: construction company and owning a real estate empire.
Yeah, that's hella smart. Yeah, completely agree with that. Can be no third party.
No third parties. Maybe the lenders. The lenders out there, I need some money.
Hey, but that's one way to start though. That's great. That's great. Yeah. All right. So you got anything else to add onto this? Anything else you want to say?
I mean, never let nobody influence you in your life. Even though my father was a good influence, but that's only 50% of him. The rest of it, it was hard. My childhood growing up, I had a pretty hard childhood too. So I lived in Vallejo, Tennessee Street, at a hotel, and that's when I started getting into drugs. That's when I started looking at a lot of things that I didn't see that excited a person. The dopamine or some stuff that makes you feel good, the alcohol, whatever it was. And it took me probably 3 years, 2 years to catch myself. And pretty much what I'm saying is there's always going to be steps on the road. Always going to be steps on the road. And all you got to do is overcome and succeed. And that should be your number one goal. Even though you're in your 20s, you 20-year-olds, you guys should be the one doing more, the most. Because by the time you're 30, 40, you can't do a lot. You're limited. You're damn near crippled. Sorry, the old folks, but you're damn near crippled, and you might agree with me.
Yeah.
See, sure. I'm 27 right now, and ever since I was like 15, I started wanting to think about business. But through that road, I've got distracted. I call it distractions. Drugs, alcohol. I still have a problem with alcohol, but it's slowly going away, which is good. Like, I'm focusing more on what I want to do 5, 10, 15 years from now.
No, for sure.
And the key, set a goal that you probably won't get to, but set a goal and try your 120% to get to that goal. Even though it's an impossible goal, but you never know. The odds are different. Even though it's an impossible goal. But if you think and you dream big and you go for that goal, guess what? You did the first step. Now you're way ahead than if you had a smaller goal. And then when you dream of that goal, you take a step back and you look at your life and you bring that goal down to what you could accomplish. Then that's what you go after. That's what you should do.
You gotta start somewhere, though. Gotta.
It all starts with a dream.
Yeah, dream and actually putting the work for it.
Yeah.
No, completely agree with that. And no, yeah, and same thing I say, all the time. You gotta really push out there, and you gotta really put your thought into what you want to do, but not just think about it, do it. Like put in the work, because a lot of people just say don't do, and then that was me too. I did a lot of just thinking.
I remember.
No, yeah, but here we are, and we're about to push this forward. This Does It podcast. Here we are, Does It podcast again, and you gotta. No, nobody gonna advertise you more than yourself. So here we are, Does It podcast again, but here we got Rigo, and what else would you like to tell us today?
Just want to tell everybody, go for your dreams, do what you want. It's a big world. There's money to be made. Just focus, strive. That's about it. That's all you need. Nobody's gonna push you unless you push yourself. Right. Maybe you'll have that one friend that is striving himself and he'll help you out. And if you have him, you're lucky. You're lucky to have that person telling you to do something. But yet, it's like that saying, you could take the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it.
Yes. Oh, that's good. And you know where people could find you at? And, social media?
Maybe the next podcast.
Maybe the next one. He said we work.
I don't want the IRS to come
for me. Not too soon. No, that's good. All right. So, we're about to wrap it up. And we got Rigo. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing your progress and seeing what else you got to say on the next one.
Thank you for having me.